Welcome back to MDmedic Podcast. It is time for part 2 of Mastering the First Date. Let's get it. Alright guys, it's time for part 2 of our lesson on mastering the first date. We're going to pick up right where we left off. As always, if you enjoy our content, let's go ahead and give us a like, give me a subscribe, give me a follow on my social media platforms. It really helps boost us up in the algorithm. So let us go. Alright guys, so in part 1 of mastering the first date, we talked about how to dress going to the date. We talked about getting your mindset right going to the date. We talked about establishing frame and building up your pre-selection. We talked about how to smell good, look good, choose the first sight, engage in conversation with her, all of these things to help build sexual tension and desire. And we left off on teaching you guys how to be okay with being a little bit disagreeable on the first date and how that establishes your frame. That shows that you're in a position of dominance and abundance and also sets yourself into the leadership role. So now at this point in the date, you've been doing all these things. You're building attraction. You're showing yourself to be dominant because you're not just agreeing with everything that she says, but you're also very polite. You're not giving away everything about you, but you're allowing her to discover it, showing that you have high value and that she's on a journey, an exciting journey of surprise and discovery. You're doing all the things right, and the moisture between her legs is building. You're on the right track. Now, once a girl gets to a certain point of actually liking you and digging you, she's going to put you through something that Rollo Tomasi calls a shit test. So a shit test, this is a term coined by Rollo Tomasi, once again, the author of the Red Pill Bible, essentially, the Rational Male book series, which is your guide to being the best man you can be when it comes to relating to finances and women and fitness, everything you need to know to be a big G in today's world. A lot of it you will find in the Rational Male series. You guys should check that out. But Rollo Tomasi, the godfather of the Red Pill movement, he coined the term shit test. And this describes when a woman who is interested in you tests you and tries to poke holes in your frame to see if you are really who you say that you are and if you are really her best option. Once again, it's a survival strategy for females. Women have to find the very best man that they can because historically in the past when times were a lot harder, in caveman days when people were living in nomadic hunter-gatherer tribes, if a woman did not find the best option she could, her and her children would starve. If she did not find the man who is the biggest, strongest warrior, hunter, protector, provider to take care of her and her children, women would die. So it's still in female nature to try to make sure that she vets you to see if you're the best. And part of this is the shit test. So the girl is interested in you. She is acknowledging your indicators of value. And now she's going to start trying to test you with little pokes and pries and tries to see if you are really who you say that you are. To see if your story lines up. To see if you are truly the dominant alpha male that you're putting off to be. So this may kind of seem like an annoying insult, kind of like nagging, but it's actually a sign that she likes you. And oftentimes if a woman really likes you, she'll do little things like that on the first date. Once again, guys, she does this because she's really trying to see if you are the best that she can do. Women need a way of narrowing down all of their many thousands of options because, let's be honest, the average girl has hundreds of options and dudes at any given time. And a pretty girl, an above average attractiveness girl, she has thousands. Her DMs are full at all times. Her messenger is full of thirsty guys just trying to get in there. She always has offers for dates and favors and sexual advances. She always has an unlimited number of options. So females use the shit test to try to narrow down the men that they want to take seriously. The whole process of a woman trying to choose the very best option that she can and not settle for one that is inferior is called hypergamy. And hypergamy is females' primary mating strategy. Because as I said, women always have an unlimited number of suitors and prospects, and she needs to narrow those down. So if a woman is really interested in you, she uses shit testing to see if you're really worth giving up all of her other options, or if you're just putting on a show and you're not really the man that you're putting on to be. So listen, guys, you must pass these shit tests early, and you must pass them consistently to establish your dominance and your frame. Now, in case you're wondering what it is a shit test actually looks like, because I am compendious, because I am intelligent, because I am such a great teacher and a great orator and just great in my instructive capabilities, how kind it was of me to list some examples of a shit test. And actually, not only examples, but what it looks like to pass one and what it looks like to fail one. So here are the examples. Example number 1, you're on the date, everything's going well. The girl is giving you all kinds of indicators of interest, right? She's showing you that she's into you. She's asking questions. She really seems genuinely interested in you. And now she pivots and she says to you, you're obviously an attractive guy and you're charismatic. I'm sure you have all kinds of women around you. This right here is a shit test, believe it or not. It's very subtle, but it is a test to see what your response is going to be. Now, you can pass this shit test by saying something like, yeah, I've got a bunch of women whose company I enjoy, but most are not worth my time, and I don't really take them seriously. But maybe you can be different, pretty lady. What that answer does is it basically puts you in a light of abundance and frame control. Once again, pre-selection makes you more attractive. Pre-selection makes a woman know you are a big G, and it basically shortens the amount of vetting she has to do to see if you're a really good candidate if other women have validated you. Women will say, oh, I want you all to myself, I want you all to myself, but subconsciously in the back of their head, you become more attractive to them when you have other women around you. Go and look at my last video for the definition of what pre-selection actually is. Now, I will repeat the first example of the shit test. She says to you, you're obviously very attractive and charismatic. I'm sure you have all kinds of women. This is how you fail that shit test. You would fail a shit test by saying something like, no, I don't. I don't have other women, I promise. You never have to worry about my attention going to anyone but you. That is a failure of the shit test because it will put you in a light of scarcity mindset. It may be what she wants to hear in the moment, but it subconsciously makes you drop in value because she's saying, well, if you don't have other women around you, then that means other women aren't validating your worth. And if other women aren't validating you, why should I? Another example of a shit test is you guys are eating, you guys are enjoying your time at the restaurant, and the cute waitress who's been serving you all night, she makes eye contact with you and smiles at you because you know you look good, you smell good, you're obviously the big G in the room, you carry yourself with confidence. And then your date says, so I guess the waitress is flirting with you. So if you're a big G, this is how you pass the shit test. You can say something like, well, you know what? It does happen sometimes. Waitresses do flirt with me. You know, she is pretty cute now that you mention it. And then you wink and give her a sly giggle and a smirk, right? That right there will imply abundance. It will take the girl that you're on a date with off of the pedestal, and it also subconsciously in the brain of your date builds a desire for validational sex and competition while merely just appearing at surface level like mere humor. Now what validational sex is when a girl really likes you and she understands that you are a high value man and that you are hard to find, you are rare, you are scarcity, and that other women are going to want you too, then she's going to want to have sex with you, but have sex in a way that she performs greatly to prove herself as your best option. That is validational sex. It's sex when a woman tries to validate herself to you. That is the crazy, awesome head that you've gotten, that you remember, that sticks out in the back of your head. That is the girl who seems to be just extra freaky, letting you do anything you want to her. That is the girl who seems like she has something to prove, the girl that's trying to compensate with sex. That's the kind of sex you want to have every single time, is validational sex. Because validational sex validates that you are a big G. That's what you want. And you can build this desire for validational sex in a girl by having her feel like there's a little bit of competition, especially if the person who's competing with her is pretty cute. Now, don't give over attention to the girl that's competing with your date. She won't like that. But as I said, kind of make a joke out of it, and don't completely just assuage her doubts. Make it a little bit of doubt there that, hey, you know what? You could have another option other than me, so I need to perform, because just like in capitalism, competition keeps quality high. I'll say that again. Competition keeps quality high. Now, once again, the scenario is this. A cute waitress makes eye contact with you and smiles at you, and your date says, "So I guess the waitress is flirting with you now." Here's how you could fail that shit test. You could respond with, "Oh, I don't think she was flirting with me, and even so, you have nothing to worry about because I'm focused entirely on you." At that point, ladies and gentlemen, remember the cat string theory? You've essentially dropped that string right at the cat's feet, and she loses interest. Once a girl feels like she has you entirely to herself, she will lose interest. Just like as you're dangling a piece of string in front of a cat just out of its reach, they will stay entertained and enthralled by that string for hours. But the moment you drop that string and it lands in front of them at their feet, they'll paw it a little bit and they'll lose interest. The same thing. Also, if you make a woman feel like she has you all to herself, she's going to stop the validational sex, and then it's going to be duty sex. As I said, a girl's instinctive reaction to competition is to have a desire for validational sex. She will want to have sex with you and want to be as freaky as possible with you to try to keep you, to try to prove to you that she is worth keeping. But once she feels like that is gone, that her competition, that her threat of someone else taking you is gone, then she starts giving you poor behavior, she starts giving you attitude, and the genuine desire starts to diminish. It's weird psychology, but it's true psychology. There's been many studies that prove this. Once again, I'll pull up that study that says that men are actually more attractive to women when they have other women's attention. Another shit test that you might encounter on a date, and this one a girl may not even realize is a shit test. This one may be like completely subconscious, is her using her phone on the date. You know, her trying to constantly take pictures and post on social media and being interactive with their friends on social media and being interactive with their friends on the date. She may not think that anything's wrong because she's always done that and she's never been told to stop. But if you tell her, "Hey, I really want to spend time with you, and I think it's a little bit disrespectful that you're using your phone on the date. I would like you to focus on me and our time that we have tonight. If you could please respect that, I would really appreciate that." If you say that to the girl just like that, then that in itself will be establishing frame. That will show her that you are the dominant one, you are the one in control. And I know a lot of you simps may be afraid to do that because you would think that it would offend the girl and she would take it as rude, but I guarantee that will make her so wet because that shows that you are in a position of dominance and leadership. She will respect you for being willing to say that to her because, as I said, most guys are so afraid of offending a girl and losing their one shot of getting some pussy. Most desperate simps will never say anything contradictory to a girl because they're so afraid of losing her because they haven't gotten pussy in forever and it's so hard for them to get it. But by you being willing to speak your mind and tell this girl your desires and your requirements, that also implies that you have abundance, and it's not that big of a deal for you to lose her because you have other women. Once again, that paints you in a light of abundance, which makes you more attractive due to the theory of pre-selection. You must pass these shit tests. And just like we talked about before when we spoke about not being afraid to be disagreeable with a woman on a date, but do so tactfully, even when a woman mentions topics that you may have a disagreeing opinion on, like I talked about, this could be her version of a shit test. So like, as I said, when she brings up the Andrew Tate thing, when she says, "Oh, how do you feel about Andrew Tate?" This could be her version of a shit test to see if you're going to just comply with her or if you actually have something to say and you're going to stand for something to see if you are really the big G. So once again, you must tactfully disagree, sound intelligent and respectful when you disagree so that it makes sense to her why you feel how you feel when you disagree, and that will make you more attractive, that will establish your frame, and that will show that you were the big G in charge. The overarching lesson to be learned here is this: women will many times on purpose do annoying things or act out to test the validity and frame of a man that she truly likes. She can do this at the beginning, or she can even do this deep into a relationship to still see if you are the big G who is her best option. Guys, the more you pass tactfully every one of these shit tests, the more you got her. And I'm telling you, the more frequently you pass the shit test, the less frequently they get in the future. She does a whole lot less of them in the future when you pass them consistently earlier. Now, they will start coming in the future and you still have to deal with them, but when you pass them with flying colors at the beginning, she won't doubt your frame as much, and they will come a lot less frequently. Another very important thing that I want to talk to you guys about to use on the first date is body language and indicators of interest, also known as IOIs. These are extremely important to pay attention to. Women are not good at overtly expressing their interest in you. For example, there may be a girl that has a crush on you that really is, eye screwing you, that really wants you, that really desires you, that thinks you're attractive, and she may be looking at you from across the room. She may have been, having a crush on you for months and she works with you or whatever, but you don't even know about it because she keeps it so secret to herself and you're surprised when you find out. Women are not good at overtly indicating their interest. However, their body language is often a dead giveaway of what they truly feel. There's a few things that I want you guys to look for on the date to see if you're actually getting some real indicators of interest, to basically gauge kind of how you move forward with the date and how aggressive you come in building sexual tension and sexual interest with her. So one of the indicators of interest I want you guys to pay attention to is eye contact. So guys, both fleeting nervous glances and prolonged eye contact are huge indicators of interest. So a fleeting nervous glance, what that is so she'll look at you, and then when she sees that you're making eye contact, she'll kind of shyly flutter her eyes away but still look at you as she's kind of, smirking and smiling at you. That shows, that fleeting look implies shyness and insecurity. Now that's a good thing when it comes to intersexual dynamics between a man and a female in a romantic relationship, because her shyness and her insecurity acknowledges the sexual marketplace imbalance that she sees. She understands that you are the prize in the situation, that you are the more valuable person on the sexual marketplace, that you have the higher sexual market value. She understands that she's lucky to even be with you, to even be on a date with you, to be in the same room with you, and that's why she's a little bit shy. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, when your girl is just a little bit insecure in the relationship, that's when you're gonna have her best behavior. A man is the last person that needs to be insecure because he's supposed to be looked to as the leader, as the big G, as the alpha, as the frame controller, as the protector, as the provider. So when he is insecure, he loses attractiveness. But when a woman is a little bit insecure in a relationship, if she's a little bit insecure on where she stands with you, you're gonna get the best behavior out of her. And then also, prolonged deep eye contact from across the table implies sexual desire, particularly when she's staring at your eyes and then she shifts her gaze to other things like your lips when you speak. It means that she wants to get physical with you. So guys, when you notice this indicator of interest, when you notice the prolonged eye contact, she's looking at your lips when you speak, she's looking you up and down, she's making eye contact with you, she's looking at you like a dog looks at a piece of meat, then you should reciprocate in how you look at her, because your reciprocation is like nonverbal permission for her to move forward with her sexual desires. And then, to even more so gauge her, at a point in the conversation where she is like leaned forward, eye contacted with you, listening intently, she seems like totally interested in you, she is just enthralled with you, suddenly get up and go to the bathroom, and as you're walking away, look back at her with a smirk. Just look back at her with a nice little sly smile and catch her eye. Look at the sexual desire in her eyes. Look how she looks at you. And then when you return from the bathroom, if she's staring at you intently with a smile and looking you up and down, from your eyes to your chest to your lips down to your package, then it is a strong indicator of sexual interest. Everything you do should be something to elicit an indicator of interest out of a woman on a date. And everything that she does is something that you can read as either an indicator of interest or a, cold signal, hey, she's not feeling it. Another nonverbal indicator of interest that you guys should look for is called ventral posturing. So what ventral posturing is it is turning the front side or the ventral side more towards the object of interest. So as the date progresses, you should see a woman open up her posture more and more to you and gradually turn her front side more and more toward you across the table. She may also remove objects from in between you and her and lean in closer. So say that there's like a cup and a vase of flowers on the table, or her phone and then her plate. As she's getting more and more interested in you, watch her. She will start leaning more towards you, turning her front side more towards you as an indicator of interest and vulnerability. She will lean in closer to you, lean her ventral side closer to you, and then she'll start removing objects. She'll start moving the plate and the cup and the phone out of the way so that there can be no barrier between you and her. this is something that you want to see. This is a very, very strong indicator of interest. Another thing that you can notice, if you're really crafty, if you are really good at noticing subtle details, another nonverbal indicator of interest is pupillary dilation. So if you see a woman's pupils progressively get bigger throughout the date, that could be a very subtle but strong indicator of interest. As the date progresses, watch your girl's pupils as you talk to her. If they dilate or get bigger, it could indicate an interest as her nervous system is responding by increasing the amount of you that she visually takes in. So essentially what dilating your pupils does is it allows more light to come in and increases your field of vision. And so as a response to her sexually desiring you, her nervous system subconsciously will say, hey, I'm going to dilate these pupils so I can take in more of him visually. It could be an indicator of interest. It's very subtle, but if you can notice it, it could give you a little bit of an edge to see how you're gonna, do your next strategies. So another nonverbal indicator of interest are hair twirling, face touching, and adjusting your clothes. Like all of these actions that I just mentioned are, indicators of interest that basically imply sexual marketplace value asymmetry. Once again, these are things that shows that she's kind of nervous and wants to impress you because you are a high caliber option for her. She understands that there is kind of a sexual marketplace asymmetry here, and she sees you as the prize. That is a great thing. She wants to make sure she's looking good, that her clothes are in order, that her hair's right, that her makeup might be right. She's always touching her face, kind of has comfort to make sure everything is okay. Once again, this is a good thing to check for when you are returning from the bathroom before she catches you in her field of vision, before she makes eye contact with you, before she sees you as you're returning from the bathroom. Check for her fixing her hair and clothes as you're coming back, because that means she's trying to make sure she's looking the very best for you. So I'm actually going to show you a little video that shows a girl in a date showing a lot of indicators of interest. She's showing the hair twirling, the face touching, she's doing the ventral posturing and leaning forward. This is what you want to look for. She even has the eye contact, the direct eye contact. This is what I want you guys to look for. If a girl looks at you like this, you're winning. Textbook example right there. Another thing you should look for, guys, in terms of nonverbal indicators of interest is leg position. Watch how her legs are positioned throughout the date. It could represent things. It could give you indicators of interest. For example, if she is initially sitting with her legs crossed and the leg that's on top is pointing away from you, and then she transitions through the date as she's gaining more interest to sitting with her legs crossed and the leg that's on top is pointing towards you, then it could be an indicator of interest for sexual interest. So, there has been studies on this, and it shows that there is some kind of correlation with where a girl has her legs crossed and legs positioned in relation to you and how it correlates with sexual interest. It could be a strong IOI if it is taken in context with other nonverbal cues. I think one of the most powerful indicators of interest is a girl's touch response. If she initiates touch with you, like she reaches her hand across the table and grabs yours, or she always wants to cuddle up on you, or if she, initiates the first kiss, or she wants to just be close to you all the time, or even if she says, I don't even want to sit across the table and from you anymore, I want to come and sit beside you, and is leaning into you, that right there, you got it in a bag. That is one of the strongest indicators of interest there is. Also, if you initiate the touch, if you break the touch barrier and she leans into it and welcomes more and seems like she wants to participate in it, it's also a strong indicator of interest. All of these things, all of these IOIs are things that should be taken into account for what I'm about to teach you guys next for the after date part. So now let's talk about leaving the date, leaving the actual restaurant, leaving the venue. So believe it or not, this involves a lot of frame control too. You should pay for the bill without even looking. Don't even look at the check. You just stick your card on top of the bill and you hand it directly back to the waitress in a polite way. This right here implies high value. This implies that no matter how much it is, you don't care. You're in a position of comfort. You are in a position of confidence. You are in a position of abundance to pay for it. Even if it's, not the case. Even if this date was a little expensive for you, you have to play it off as if it's nothing. You have to show yourself to be in an abundance mindset all the time. And also, this should be incentive for you to work hard where you really can be like this. You really can not care. Because that right there, abundance is more potent. Abundance is easier to put off as if you really have it. So after you pay the bill, confidently like G, you walk her out to her car and offer to hold her hand. Once at her car, based on the indicators of interest you observe throughout the date, then you're going to move forward. So guys, Mystery, one of the most famous pickup artists of all time, says that if you can get 3 or more indicators of interest on a date, it is a green light to move forward into physicality and sexuality. So when you get her to the car, if you've seen the 3 indicators of interest throughout the night, go ahead and initiate a kiss. As I said, if she drove to meet you there at the date spot, you do it right beside her car. If you picked her up for the date, then you should get her in the car, drive her back to her house or wherever you're going to drop her off, and then you wait to kiss her until you are at her place and are about to drop her off. And now, guys, this is where it starts to get spicy. If, when you initiate the kiss, if she welcomes it and shows you interest and participates in the kiss and goes along with it, then start intensifying it a little bit with some tongue kissing. If she's into that, and then if she's enjoying the tongue kissing, really start to intensify it, guys. Make it get hot and heavy. Make her drip with desire. If she's really into it, get deep into the tongue kissing, and then abruptly out of nowhere, just grab her throat with one hand, and then go with the other hand around her lower back if you're standing up, or around her thigh if you guys are sitting down in the car. Do this abruptly. Of course, don't choke her out, but do it just a little firmly, just so she knows that you're there. Don't cut off her airway, but while you're kissing her, just do this quick throat grab and pull her close to you by her lower back. And if you hear the deep, sudden inhalation or moan, or a moan as you do this, then you got her, and she's dripping wet for you. I promise, you got her. That deep breath as you do that, and you're kissing her, and she's still going along with it, that means she wants you, bro. You got her. You got her. She is getting hot and heavy, and as she's getting deeper and deeper into it, and she's intensifying, and she acts like she wants to tear your clothes off and tear you apart, like, at that moment where it starts getting super hot and heavy, all of a sudden you need to just disengage. Just disengage and mention that you have to go. Mention that you have to go do something, just like you said before at the beginning of the date, that you have something to do. And then tell her that you had a good time and you want to see her again. Listen, when you leave at this point, she's going to be a mess. She's going to be like, what happened? Who is this guy? I cannot get enough of him. I've never had a guy just build desire in me like this. I have never had a guy that's even been able to, not let me go all the way right like that. Who is this guy? I want him. I want to tear this guy apart. I am telling you, when you leave, she'll be a mess, and she'll be all hot and bothered for you, wishing that she could screw you, and she's going to pounce on you the next time you see her. I guarantee it. The second date smash will be almost a guarantee, and it will be unbridled and unashamed sexual desire and passion from her end because she won't feel pressured, and she will think that it's her idea. Remember, guys, as I said, always schedule your first date on a day where you have something to do afterwards, or tell her you have something to do so that she will put down her guard, she'll put down her anti-slut defense, and she won't feel like you're trying to pressure her into sex the whole time and that that's your expectation. And when you do that, you can really focus on building that sexual tension so that on the second date you have it in the bag and you have that wonderful validational sex that I was talking about. Girls give you the best intimacy when she feels like it's her idea. All the things that I told you to do in this first date is to build that sexual tension so that in the second date, the second time you see her, you may not even have to take her on a date. She just is like, hey, can you come over? Sexual tension is there. And if you want to screw her, you have it. It is there. And she will think it's her idea. Now, guys, let's talk about what you do after you leave this first date. You've already left. You dropped her off. You left her hot and heavy. Here's what you do. This is crucial. Do not text her immediately. Do not text her immediately. Even if you really liked her, even if you were really hot and heavy for her too, seem like you're busy. Wait for her to text you first. And then after she texts you, wait at least 30 minutes before you respond. This makes a girl think, hey, he has abundance. He's not obsessing over me, so maybe he has other options. Maybe there's other girls. I need to compete with him. I need to have competition anxiety. I need to have that desire for validational sex. Who knows who he's talking to or what he's doing? And he's not obsessing over me, and that's rare. Guys always obsess over me. Why is this guy so special? Why is this guy so special? It will drive her crazy in a good way. Wait at least 30 minutes before you respond to her. As I said, it implies abundance and builds sexual tension and competition anxiety on her. From this point, after you do finally respond, you've gotten the indicators of interest, you got her all hot and heavy, You've waited for her to text you first to show that she is really into you, to also the friend that you're also in control. She's texted you first, and you've waited a little bit of time before responding to her, and she's all into you. She's crazy about you now. She's all a mess. She's hot and heavy from you. From this point, you can actually welcome sexual conversation if that's what you're wanting. You can welcome sexual conversation in the text. You can give sexual innuendos. Don't seem too thirsty, but you just welcome the sexual conversation. You make little innuendos and little jokes, and I almost guarantee she's probably going to send nudes. She's probably going to escalate sexually on her end, and that will actually set the tone and the expectation for the next time you guys get together. As I said, don't seem too thirsty though. You're going to want to text her at about a 2-to-1 or a 3-to-1 text ratio. In other words, for every 2 or 3 texts that she sends you, you send her 1. This will put you as the prize because it will feel like she is chasing you and not you chasing her. Once again, the catch string. You want to have that string dangled but just out of her reach. She will pursue your validation and she will pursue your attention. That's what you want. You want a girl pursuing your validation. This will also, once again, induce competition anxiety, which is your friend, because she will have a strong desire for validational sex and performance when she sees you again. She will be thinking, if he's not texting me really quick, if he's not texting back immediately like most guys do and obsessing over me, what else is he doing? Does he have other girls? Does he have other options? I need to perform. I need to show myself to be the best option. She's going to want to have that validational sex and validational urgency. Do these things. If you do these things right, gentlemen, you can literally have anything you want out of a girl. I'm telling you, you can literally have anything you want out of her on the second date. Anything. And all of that, guys, all of that I just taught you in the last 2 episodes of Mastering the Perfect First Date, all of these things go back to the iron rule of Rollo Tomassi, that genuine desire cannot be negotiated. And gentlemen, I want you to be men that are genuinely desired by women. I want you to be the fastest, the richest, the strongest, the smartest men that you can possibly be, because that's what we're about on this channel. Making you guys into excellent men, making you guys into conquerors, making you guys into men that can have exactly what you want out of life. I hope I added value to your life. Give us a like and give us a subscribe if we did. MDmedic Podcast, we out.